There's no stupid questions. Well, I mean, there is, but when it comes to nutrition, try to keep it there. All right, questions? Ready? Okay, hey, dial in. Focus.
All right, good morning, guys. How are you?
Good.
All right. Who are we playing tonight? Tuttle. So I was talking to Coach Gray, and I was like, I know this isn't you guys' colors, but let's just focus on the important things. My name is David Falco. I am an 18-year fitness professional. I played ball at Southern Nazarene from 2001 to 2006, and Coach Gray invited me to talk to you guys about game day nutrition, recovery, answer any questions you guys might have. My objective for you guys is to get one nugget, and then that's it. So most of the stuff you guys probably won't remember. That's okay, but if I can give you some information that can assist in you guys performing better or recovering better, I've done my job. So I have a couple things to go over, and then we'll save some time for some Q&A. Cool? Cool. How many of you guys ate breakfast this morning? 4 of y'all. Okay, God. Quick question, and I want to go over this too as well. The information that I'm going to share with you guys is just my opinion. Number one, full disclosure, I'm not a medical professional, anything like that. You guys are going to have different needs for different positions. Some of you guys need to gain weight. Some of you guys need to lose weight. Some of you guys like there's so many variables to take into consideration when I'm presenting this information. This is going to be very broad, very general, but you will be able to apply a lot of it for you guys to use like even immediately. So again, take some of this with a grain of salt. Really consider the variables that we're taking into consideration, from position to snaps. How many of you guys play both ways? Okay. How many of you guys play offense, defense, and special teams? Never leave the field. So for you guys, like, it's going to be a little bit different. So just take those things into consideration. Some of you guys might get 30 snaps a game. Some of you guys might get 50 snaps a game. Some of you guys might never come off the field. Those are variables you want to consider when going over this. So again, my name is David Falco. Let's go over this. Like I said, I played at SNU from 2001 to 2006. Right now, currently, I am working with people online since COVID. I did have a brick and mortar gym for leading up to COVID since 2006, so 2020. So for 14 years, I had a brick and mortar facility. Now I'm fully online, and I work with people worldwide, all the way from United States to Korea, and also clients in Italy too as well. The majority of the people that I work with, people that want to get in shape, people that want to lose weight, obviously in the fitness industry. But like I said, I played football my entire life ever since I was 6 years old, all the way up through collegiately. And like I said, the information that I'm going to share with you guys is some of the things that we utilized and might bring to you guys' attention that you may not have even considered. So I've worked with 2,600 students worldwide. I have 11 100-pound losers on my resume. So I know how nutrition works. And this, for you guys, this isn't necessarily about weight loss, but you guys need to understand, like, if you guys start taking your nutrition seriously, you'll see improvements in your performance. Guarantee it. For some of you guys that don't take it, you guys are leaving money on the table, and the people that do take it serious are going to have an advantage over you guys. So my objective is to give you guys some nuggets to think about so that you guys can perform better tonight and throughout the rest of your season. A couple notables. Like I said, I've been doing this since 2006. I've worked with 2 Division I basketball players, Barry Honore and TJ Franklin. This was back probably when you guys were like babies. Who's the oldest in here? Who's 18? Okay, yeah, so you guys are all very young. You guys probably don't remember these guys because you guys were super, super young. I'm 42, so now currently I work with military, a lot of Brazilian jiu-jitsu students who are trying to make weight, things like that, but still, nutrition's going to apply to football as well. I have about 35 minutes to go over some things with you. I'm not going to be able to cover everything. I just want to give you some key points that you guys can implement immediately. The things that we're going to go over is hydration and electrolytes so that you can avoid cramping. Did anybody cramp last week? Yep, right. We're going to go over calorie ranges and protein intake, game day fueling and refueling, and then if we have time, a little bit of supplementation and Q&A. I want to start off in regards to the hydration. I like starting off with a story. I went to SNU. I was there for 5 years. I didn't break the starting role until my 5th year. So 19 years old, rode the bench, 20 years old, rode the bench, 21, finally cracked special teams. 22, finally got onto the field, and then by my 5th year, my senior year, I got to start. So I was really, really pumped. There was no transfer portal at that time, so it's either like if you transferred, you had to sit out. I waited 5 years to play, 5 years, and all I did was freaking like practice. And when my time finally came after that 5th year, I was super, super stoked. We played a team, Graceland, Iowa. I remember this. Bus ride was like 6-7 hours. We got up there. I played strong safety. The guy that I was lining up against, he was a Division I transfer from Boston College. He was a quarterback, but when he transferred to this school, they moved him to tight end. This guy was like 6'5", 6'6", 240, like big dude. So all week long leading up to this, every time I'm blinking, I'm seeing this guy's like roster pick, and I'm like just really, really focused on like locking him down. Super pumped. It's been 5 years, and I'm ready to go. Game starts, first quarter, 0 catches. Second quarter, 1 catch. Halftime. We go into halftime. Coaches are giving us the adjustments. We're going over this like, yeah, I'm locking them down. No catches, no catches, no catches. Third quarter, first series, cramped. I'm like, oh shit. Feel my hamstring start tightening up. I'm like, I try to work through it. Couple more series, it locks up, I'm out for the rest of the game. And so I'm over on the sideline, can't do anything, super, super frustrated. Like this was my moment, this was my time. I've been waiting for 5 years, and then I wasn't prepared. I didn't understand hydration at the time. I was out, first series of the third quarter. Couple series into that, deep ball in the secondary, they score. We end up losing that game. I felt a big responsibility not being prepared for that situation. I didn't understand hydration. I didn't understand electrolytes, and I hurt my team because I wasn't able to be out there to support them and to help them. So again, some of the things I'm going to share with you guys might be controversial. It might be completely ass backwards from what you guys have been taught. That's okay. I just want to share with some of my experiences and what I know can help. So avoid cramping. So let's go over this. Let me move this over so you guys can see this. So pre-game hydration, we're not talking about 1 hour before the game. We're not talking about warm-ups. We're talking about all day. Like right now, you guys should be hydrating, but not only just with water, but let's talk about electrolytes. So magnesium, potassium, calcium, and sodium. Some common household things that all of you guys can be using: bananas, regular table salt, sea salt tablets, coconut water, pickle juice, sweet potatoes. These are just basic household items, nothing fancy, no like supplement things that you guys need to go purchase. Everybody can have access to these, but these will be solid foods that you'll be able to absorb those electrolytes to help prevent cramping with that. How many of you guys use any of this right now currently, either game day or pregame? 1, 2, 3 sometimes. So a couple things, like I said, it's like have this stuff ready. If it's provided for you, great. If not, it's going to be up to you to be responsible, like I said, for your pregame. So the schools and the coaches are going to be able to do so much. So take the matters into your own hand.
Hey, let me jump on that.
Yeah.
Our cafeteria has bananas almost every day, right? There's bananas in that cafeteria. You grab one for lunch.
What are you guys? What do they have? Do they just have water? Or do you have Gatorade?
We're gonna have Gatorade
At the game?
Just at the game?
Yeah.
So nothing throughout the day?
No.
Okay, so there's your station.
I figured like a lot of you guys, like I said, so like when I was in high school, what we did, like the churches like cooked us breakfast. So we would, as a team, go to church, different churches every Friday. They'd cook us a big, huge breakfast. We'd have breakfast. We'd have normal lunch, obviously at the cafeteria or out and about. And then like that was it. Like that was it. And so game is at 7:30 is kickoff, right? And I got a timeline on this. And you guys got to think about this. During the day, during the week, Monday through Thursday, you guys are eating breakfast, you're eating lunch, and then practice is like 2:33, right? Okay? Game day, you eat breakfast, you eat lunch, kickoffs 7:30. You got a 7-hour window. And if you're not feeling your body, like I said, it's like you guys are not going to be able to perform as well as you could if you're properly fueling your body. Does that make sense? Have you guys ever thought about that? We want Friday to look as similar as Monday through Thursday in regards to your performance, and we got a 7-hour window, and if you guys aren't eating, and if you guys aren't consuming calories, it's going to affect the way that you perform. So just think about that. I got a timeline to go over this with you guys on this. Do I have any questions on this? Simple table salt, salt tablets, bananas, coconut water, pickle juice, sweet potatoes, simple little bitty things. Obviously, they're sports drinks, but I want to just like give you guys like household items that you guys be able to utilize. Do I have any questions on this? Super, super, super important. My coach, my defensive coordinator, Coach Potter, he said, in a 60-minute game, there's about 3 plays that will determine the outcome of the game, and we don't know what those 3 plays are at all. And so in that specific game when we were playing Graceland, it was like that was one of the ones. Like I was out, we had our backups in, they went deep, overhead, boom. It was a really, really close game. And like I said, it's like we don't know exactly which one of those plays are going to be, and it would absolutely suck if you had to come off the field because you were cramping. And we see it at all levels, high school, college. There was college players cramping last week. Professional, probably not so much, but you do still see it. So start to take your pregame hydration serious, like now, not an hour before, not during pregame, like all day. And a lot of this stuff that we're going to go over is actually leading up to the game throughout the entire day on a Friday. This is what I mentioned, game day fueling and refueling. Games are at 7 p.m. If you haven't ate since lunchtime, it's going to hinder your performance. We want to keep the game day experience similar to what you guys do Monday through Thursday. We're going to go over that timeline here in a minute. My suggestion is that you want to be eating anywhere between 3 to 4 hours prior to kickoff. That's just my opinion. So just like I said, if you think about it, during the week, lunch is at 11 or 12. You guys practice at 3. It's about 3 to 4 hours. If you guys are getting out of school, what time do you guys get out of school on Friday for last class? 2:14. So there's a 5-hour window. I would definitely be eating, like I said, around like 3:30, about 4 hours prior to kickoff. Does that make sense? Let me slide this over. Here's the timeline, what I was talking about earlier. Okay, if you're not eating after lunch, as I said, it's going to be 7 hours before kickoff during the week. We want to keep it looking the exact same. Breakfast, 7:30 a.m. Lunch, depending upon if you guys have multiple lunch hours, somewhere between 11 and 12. Pre-game meal would be somewhere in between like 2 to 3 if I was doing it. And then we're also going to talk about refueling at halftime, which I'm assuming halftime, if it's a 7:30 kickoff, you guys are going to be at halftime around like 8 or 8:30. But you guys want to start thinking about this too as well. If you guys aren't refueling, how many of you guys refuel at halftime? Okay, good. And when I say like refuel, I'm like actually eat food at halftime. Okay. This was actually a big surprise for me when I got to SNU. I had no idea. In high school, they didn't feed us anything. They gave us like on the away trips, they provided like sandwiches, pizzas, things like that for dinner on the way back. But in regards to like in-game, everything was all on us. So when I got to college, I'm like, oh shoot, they got food at halftime? And so like, yeah, we're refueling. And again, specifically for those of you guys who are going to be playing 40, 50, 60 snaps, you guys are like a smaller school, some of you guys are going to be out all day. You guys want to take that into consideration and make sure that you're fueling. You guys are going to be burning 1,000 calories easy in a 3-hour game. Any questions on this timeline in the first like breakfast, lunch, pregame, not necessarily halftime. We'll get that here in a second. Any questions on that? Don't be afraid, guys. I'm just here to help you. Okay, you guys' nutrition, all you guys' nutrition spot on. You guys are performing your best.
I got a question on breakfast.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on breakfast? Should we be going, something pancakes or cereal, something carved up, or something protein-wise, eggs?
Everything, honestly. So the thing about this too as well, because do you guys eat together as a team or for breakfast? Yes or no? No? Okay, so like I said, we take into consideration X amount of players on the team, right? There's going to be X amount of variables. Some people have parents at home that can still provide. There's so many things. I would just say, like, make sure you guys are eating and not junk, obviously. So the biggest thing is like on game day, you guys want to, it's a 3-hour game and you guys are playing at the highest intensity that you can. We want to make sure that you're adequately fueled. And I'm not talking Taco Bell or some of the other things that you guys got on like Main Street, like good quality food. But yeah, like carbohydrates are going to be your main source of energy. You definitely want to make sure that you're consuming them. Pancakes, fine. Cereal's fine. Things like that. We just want to make sure that you guys are adequately fueled so that you're not tanking out in the fourth quarter or overtime, double overtime. How many of you guys have played in overtime or double overtime? Sucks, doesn't it? Dog tired. And it's like people who are best prepared are going to be the ones that are going to perform the best. Great question, though. So like I said, a lot of, again, guys, there's so many variables we take into consideration with 50-something players, 60-something players on the team. Here's something that people may or may not agree with. This is just, again, my opinion. So halftime refueling, electrolytes, calories, and sugar. Me personally, if I was still playing, I would be consuming a Snickers bar and a banana, or maybe even half a Snickers bar or a banana. Again, depending upon how many snaps I was getting. But we want to make sure, like again, it's a 3-hour window. You guys got 7 hours since lunchtime. You guys want to make sure that you're not running on an empty tank. This is a very, very important. Approximately about 300 calories at halftime. Trial and error, and that's what I put here, is like not everybody is the same. Some of you guys may get 10 snaps, some of you guys may get 50 snaps. What I'm sharing with you is not going to be like, okay, you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to do this. I'm just bringing a different perspective for you guys to take into consideration. Number of snaps, obviously position, pregame, meal size, like all these things you want to think about in regards to your fueling and then also your refueling. Again, me personally, I would have a Snickers bar and a banana. That's just me in regards to refueling at halftime. Here's something you guys may not be thinking about. Do you guys have a bedtime? Yes or no? Like, do your parents regulate this? Do they let you stay up? Are you scrolling Instagram, TikTok, whatever? Take this into consideration. This has nothing to do with food, but it does have to do with preparation. The way you perform is like affected by your sleep 1,000%. And we're not even talking about Thursday night, we're also talking about Wednesday night. Again, you guys start taking these little bitty nuances into consideration that most kids don't. It's like you're gonna have a small edge, and that's all I'm wanting to do is to help you guys, just to like give you some inkling of a slight edge to, again, where you can perform at your best. But if you guys start taking your rest and recovery seriously, you'll perform better. How are you going to go up and play again like 50 snaps if your sleep sucked last night and you got like 5 hours, you were up till 11:30, midnight, scrolling social media or whatever? Like, you're not going to perform your best. I want you guys to be able to perform your best. Start thinking about these things and taking them into consideration. When I was at SNU, on the away games, they put us up in hotels, and we literally had a coach do room checks. So we had our schedule: breakfast, lunch, team meetings, walkthrough, team meetings, rest and recovery, lights out. Literally had a lights out. And we would have a coach come in, he'd have a key card, he'd open up the door, make sure everybody's door to door, making sure that they're asleep and that our lights out, because it is important. We don't want to be, they didn't want us staying up late because, you know, rest is important. So you guys want to start taking that into consideration. I have another story about that, but I'm not going to do that right now. So, what time, guys, are you guys going to sleep? Just curious for my own information.
Like 11.
Huh?
Like 11.
11. What time's your first class? 7:35. Yeah. So, guys, does that make sense? It's like, if you're not as well rested, do you feel like you'll perform better or worse? Huh? Right? Common sense. But common sense ain't that common. So think about this stuff. Start prioritizing. I guarantee you. And here's the other thing. I'll get on this. One thing that I discovered going into college, like some of you guys are in your positions, right? A good majority, and this also included me, a good majority of people that come into college, they don't necessarily always play the same position. Does that make sense? So you guys might think like, oh man, it's like this guy at this school, or this guy at this school, or this guy at this school. Number one is like, you guys aren't, like, how many of you guys want to go to college and play ball? Okay, so get this through your head. You guys are not just competing against other players in your position at that school here in Oklahoma City. I want that to really sink in. Like, there's other players in other positions who eventually will switch positions because that's the nature of the game. So there's guys that you never even heard of that are not from around here that are in situations that they're doing the same thing. And there's only X amount, especially now with like NIL, there's only a specific amount of scholarships and spots on a team. So the people that take these little bitty things seriously, again, are going to have a better edge. And that's all I want, is a better edge for you guys. Start prioritizing your sleep. Questions on this? Coaches?
I got a question going back to the banana and Snicker.
Yeah.
Just the Snickers stuck out in my mind. Can you go into some detail why the banana in particular, other than it's just easily accessible, and what's in the Snickers that would help them refuel?
Sugar and calories.
Just sugar?
Sugar and calories, for sure. Now, like I said, I'm not saying like, oh, the Snickers bar should be a part of your everyday diet. I'm not saying that. I'm specifically talking about on game day, at halftime. At halftime, I'm wanting electrolytes and sugar. So, like you guys are playing multiple snaps. Again, smaller meals also. Smaller meals, not big, huge volume. So it's compact, easy packed. Anybody can have it, put it in their bag. A lot of calories in the smaller meals.
I think a Snickers bar is 360 calories. You guys ever looked? You want to know why I looked? Because I was eating one every day, and I felt like I was getting fat. So I switched over to Payday, which is now like 280 calories. So I cut off 40 calories right there. That's why the Snickers kind of stuck out to me.
Again, take things into context. I'm not saying a Snickers bar should be a part of your everyday diet. This is specifically what I would do at halftime if I'm playing 50 snaps. Okay, approximately about 300 calories at halftime.
What are you guys eating at halftime? Anybody have a particular?
We got Rice Krispies, fruit snacks, and plain peanut butter.
Does like the team provides that for you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just just calories, guys. And again, like take it into context. I'm talking about game day. Oh, additionally too, I wouldn't test. And when I say test, it's like I wouldn't experiment with things on game day. I would tinker with it throughout the week and throughout the season and see how you respond and react. Does that make sense? It's like you don't want to be like I don't know how many of you guys like try to do different energy drinks and things like this, and it's like, oh shoot, like I'm not feeling like my best. Just, I wouldn't test certain things that you're not used to on game day. Play around with it throughout the week and just notice how you're performing better or if you're not performing worse. Great question though. Smaller meal, not a whole bunch on the stomach, and just a lot of calories.
I want to be there in the middle of practice when one of you guys goes, hey, Coach Rickman, can we stop for a second? We all need a Snicker.
Yeah. Yeah. David said no. I said game day, guys. Game day. What we had at SNU were bananas and protein bars. So those were the two things that they provided with us. And like I said, sleep. Any questions on sleep?
If I am getting up at 7:30, what time should I go to sleep?
7-8 hours. Reverse engineer it. He asked, what time should I be going to sleep if I wake up at X? I tell people reverse engineer it. I would aim for it, especially me if I'm playing. It's like I'm definitely emphasizing getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep. So if breakfast was at 7:30, I had to be there at 7:30. I'll probably be waking up at 7. All right, let me reverse engineer 8 hours prior to that. Make sense? So it's just like the more quality of sleep that you guys get, the better you perform.
And I would think that your caloric intake needs to be a little higher than what you're expecting because of us working out in the mornings and then you having a practice in the evening.
Yep.
So they're basically now do two-a-days all year long.
Mm-hmm.
Other than like the last 2 days. I told you Coach Brickman messaged me about your legs being dead. So that's why we did nothing yesterday other than the hurdles, and you'll do nothing today.
Yep.
You should be fuel ready to go if you're taking care of your business.
Yeah. And same thing too as well.
That little Friday one, like that held it.
With the empty bar and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that was good.
And also too as well, a variable to consider, again, like different sizes humans require different amounts of food. If somebody's playing receiver, they're going to have a different caloric intake than somebody who's playing O-line, defensive line. You guys want to, again, context is king, and all these things, you want to take these stuff into consideration.
One thing on that sleep too is that's not what time you walk into your room. 11 o'clock is not what time you walk into your room to set your phone down. That 8 hours is what time you actually post.
Yeah, like you're asleep, sleeping. Not like, oh shit, I got 8 hours, I need to turn. No, it's like you guys should be, like we would have like, again, literally a lights out by X. And so we had to take care of our business, shower, clean, whatever we had to do, and like lights out at X amount of time.
Any
So,
suggestions on optimal sleeping environment?
no.
Okay,
No.
I just always go back to like Rich Froning from CrossFit, 68 degrees, no phone.
Cooler, yeah, I would say
an hour
cooler.
before, no food like 2 hours before, so your digestion can keep going, and the blood flow helps. No phone an hour, dark. I mean, he had no lights in his
Yep.
room whatsoever, and that guy said, "You think you're an animal? No, that guy's an animal." He was so dialed in on his nutrition. I mean, he was. I showed you some of the videos whenever we were watching the CrossFit games as you were working out.
Yeah, a cooler room, and then as dark as it could get. And then obviously, like, yeah, just get off your guy. I think for you guys, it's like the screen time is a big deterrent and a big distraction. And so it's like we want to start removing that and getting focused on the game. Every human's different. Like again, what I've said multiple times, every game is different. We want enough calories to support our activity and our performance levels, but not excess body fat. This is kind of more of just like not a game day thing, but just a philosophy thing. People play different positions, which require different weight. How many of you guys have jobs and actually work too, as well? So another variable to take into consideration. Some of you guys work. Some of you guys have different responsibilities outside of school and football. Some of you guys need to gain weight. Some of you guys need to lose weight. I do have, you want to pull up that chart on your, if you have the Google Sheets. Well, Coach Gray's pulling this up. Any questions so far?
Hey, now's the time to ask. Guys, I mean, you know, we might discuss this a little bit later, but is it on here?
It should be on here. Yeah, if you can exit out of there.
Yeah. I may be the wrong guy to ask. Nick, can you?
Here, watch out. Let's see.
He needs to get into my Google Sheets.
Oh, here we go.
You got a question? Hey, Coach Gary Tucker's got a question.
Yeah.
Let's go.
How would you recommend like getting in food when like some people have to balance like classes with it too?
Go ahead. Sorry.
And how do you like recommend like us getting like calories while we have to balance classes?
Yeah, right. So he asked, like, when are we supposed to eat if we're in class all day? Everybody has different natural transitions in their day. So some of you guys have to wake up earlier to get to school earlier. Some of you guys stay here for lunch. Some of you guys don't stay here for lunch. I don't know. Again, so many different variables. It's going to be up to your responsibility to make sure that you do. Nobody's going to tell you when to eat. And like, even if they do, you still need to make sure that you are eating. So I saw like 4 hands that ate breakfast. I'm like, that's a big red flag for me. I was like, I would make sure that I'm eating breakfast. I'm make sure that I'm eating lunch. I'm making sure I'm eating 4 hours before kickoff, and then I'm making sure that I'm refueling at halftime. So, but yeah, it's like, it's gonna be your responsibility. Perfect. Thank you. Thanks, Nick. Perfect. Okay. All right, calories wise, I don't know if you guys can see this, but I broke this down in regards to your current weight. All right. So is anybody under 150? Okay, got it. No worries. Is anybody over 260? Perfect. Okay, cool. I'll calculate you guys as individually too as well. All right, number 1, guys, pay attention, a couple more minutes. So this is broken down into how much you weigh specifically, how many calories you should be consuming, and also how much protein intake from those calories you guys should be intaking too as well. So if you're 170 pounds, we're looking at just under 2,400 calories. We're looking at about 153 grams of protein per day. Protein intake, take this into consideration. This is super simple. In regards to how much protein I should be taking, 1 gram per pound of body weight. Again, this is my opinion. You may have heard differently, but that's a minimum at least, especially if we're playing athletics. So if you're a 170-pound athlete, we're looking at about 170 grams of protein daily. And you can get that from meats, you can get that from supplements, I don't care. But again, like know your targets and work to making sure that you're hitting that intake. Because if you're not, like I said, you're just leaving money on the table. Yes?
Yeah, like during the summer, so I won like 15 pounds. I was eating like maybe 4,000 calories a day.
Yep.
Is that like bad at all for you?
Great question. So a lot of times, even with my clients, they use these terms. Is this good? Is this bad? Is this healthy? Is this unhealthy? A lot of times people are like, a Snickers bar, that's not healthy. We're not looking at things in regards to adjectives. Is this good, bad, healthy, unhealthy? We're looking at math. When I'm talking about nutrition, everything that I do is regards to math. So eating 4,000 calories, depending upon what your goal is. Let's go back to the chart. So let's say you're 150 pounds and you're getting your ass handed to you like all game long. He's like, dude, I need to put on some weight, and especially between now, and it's not going to happen during this season, but into next season, if you want to put on 10 pounds, you adjust your calories. And it's like, you guys want to be able to track this stuff. There are guys out there who got this down to a science, and they are playing at the weight that they want to play at. When I was in high school, I graduated like at 165. I wish I was bigger, okay? I had nobody to teach me this stuff, so I had no clue. I'm just going off of what my parents taught me about nutrition, which didn't really amount to much because they didn't know either. But if we actually had somebody who could teach us how food works and what our caloric targets were and what our protein targets were, like you'll be able to mold your body into a better athlete at where you want to play at. So if you're super heavy and you're dragging ass and you need to lose weight, we can adjust your intake. If you're super light and you need to gain weight, we can adjust your intake. Can you guys see this clearly? So if you guys want to take a snapshot with your phones on this, you guys can do this. That's totally fine. But depending upon where you're at currently, and if you want to sustain that, where you're at if you want to gain weight, and where you're at if you want to lose weight. I've worked this all the way up to 250. What's some of you guys' weights?
Literally all of them.
Okay, give me 1 second, guys. Okay, cool. Who wants to be bigger? Like, who wants to be bigger, stronger? Raise your hand. Okay, how much do you weigh? What weight do you want to be at? 190. Let's go to chart, right? What's your name? Trey? I would coach you, Trey. I was like, dude, you want to hit 2,600 calories per day, making sure that you're getting 171 grams of protein per day. Are you doing that? Yes or no? You don't know. There's an opportunity for you to get bigger, stronger, faster if you take this seriously. Make sense? Cool. Anybody else? How much do you weigh? 170? Okay. What weight do you want to be? Same thing, 185. These are in increments of 10, but yeah, 2,500 calories per day, 162 grams of protein per day. And it'll be your guys' responsibility. It'll be your guys' responsibility to make sure that you're tracking that. How many of you guys have MyFitnessPal on your phones? Cool. Love that. Yes, questions?
Are those calories, are those taking into consideration all the calories you're burning?
Yes, great question. When I calculated this formula, I was like, okay, 16 to 18-year-old boys, like I said, playing 3-hour games, absolutely. This is taking into consideration your activity level. If you guys practice more, I would up it even more, but this is based off of my own experience and my reference points. These are calculations based off of you guys practicing 2 to 3 hours Monday through Thursday and then having a 3-hour game on Friday. So that is taken into consideration. Great question.
Time frame on that. If you do follow the chart.
Time frame in regards to getting to where you want to be. Great question. Compliance. Compliance. So if you do it half the time, if you do it all the time, if you do it some of the time. A lot of times in the fitness and weight loss, we get this question a lot. Like somebody needs to lose 40 pounds. How long is this going to take? Compliance. Depends. Are you guys willing to take this stuff serious, do it every single day, or is it just kinda? But these would be your numbers based off of like if you want to sustain your weight, gain your weight, lose your weight. Do you guys want to? Do you guys? Let's just do something. So, how much you weigh? 280. Okay. You're trying to sustain your weight, gain weight, lose weight. Sustain? Okay, so for the season. And here's the other thing too, guys. Every year, like clockwork at SNU, every year I would come in at X amount of weight. By the end of the year, I was down by 10, 15 pounds. I lost weight during the season because my calorie intake wasn't as high as it should be because no one taught me. So if you're not wanting to lose weight, make sure that you're hitting your nutrition. 280. 3,900 calories, 252 grams of protein. You'll have to work at that. That's a lot of protein. 280, we might work this out. That's not letting me type. Let's see, 39. It's not letting me type. Yes?
I don't know if you know this. Do you guys know who Michael Phelps is? Like the greatest swimmer in U.S. history? You know he was eating something like 6,000 calories a
10.
day?
10,000 calories. Context, let's take this into consideration. Olympic athlete, he's showing up at the pool probably like 5 a.m. Like he swims more laps in his warm-up than most humans do their entire life. Like he's all day in the pool. All day in the pool. Hours. You want to take this into context. I'm not saying you guys should eat 10,000 calories a day, but you guys need to understand if you wanted to perform at your highest level and have the energy, you got to know how much food I should be consuming for me to perform at my best. Make sense? You guys take this into consideration because there's guys out there that are, and they're beating you, I promise. Great point, Coach.
We got about 3 minutes before I'm going to let you guys go back down to the locker room so you can change or whatever for your 8:30 class. Today's 8:30, right? Yeah. Okay. Hey, think of any last questions, specific questions that you want to ask, please.
Yeah.
Would this be different if you're trying to lose weight?
Yep. 100%. You guys are in control of the way your body is. So, like, nutrition is a very, 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 very powerful tool. Most people underestimate it.
What would be like a good after game?
Whatever you can get, man. Yeah, I mean, it's like, because you guys aren't, did they report on Saturday? Like, to watch film or anything? Oh, okay, no worries.
You guys you didn't come in last Saturday, right? Because
This
Saturday when you
eat.
come in?
Eat.
Oh, tight ends were one step ahead of everybody. I like it. Where were your quarterbacks?
Yes.
What is like the lunch and game
Great question. So he said, what should lunch be? Again, taking into consideration the variables. Some of you guys may eat lunch on campus. Some of you guys may be able to go out. It's like, I'm more focusing more on like the numbers and rather than the actual like what it is that you're eating. Obviously, guys, like we're not trying to eat like Taco Bueno Mexi dip and chips before a game, right? Or whatever. I don't know if you guys got Taco Bueno. But like whole quality foods, like think about this. Calories are going to control your weight. Macronutrients are going to control the way you look. Micronutrients are going to control the way you feel. I'm going to say that again. Calories control your weight. Macronutrients control the way you look. Micronutrients control the way you feel. So even if you're getting X amount of calories, but you're getting X amount of calories of junk, you're not going to be performing as well as if you had X amount of calories of like good quality food. You guys are teenagers, like you guys get away with a lot of things right now because of how young you guys are. But like again, if you take this more serious, you'll be able to perform better. Great question. Any other questions? How much time do I got?
1 minute.
1 minute.
Can I make a suggestion? Don't mean to butt in.
Yep.
If you want to start something right now, start journaling. I would think that David would want you, if I'm not suggesting that you call him to be a client. I'm just saying that if you ever find a nutritionist or a specialist like that, they will have you journal your food. This is what I ate, so many ounces. This is what I had for breakfast, so many ounces, twice a day, whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's just a first step for you to take to get better at it. Not just try to memorize it, write it down.
And like I said, think about it. It's like, man, I'm getting pushed around. Coach says I need to gain 20 pounds. Coach says I need to gain 10 pounds by next year. Okay, great. Okay, how do I do that? Well, you lift and you eat. Okay, well, that's very broad, very general. It's like if we actually can give you like data. It's like, do this exactly along with your lifting. And you all, I have a cell phone. You download MyFitnessPal. You just get good at tracking. You can start auditing your behaviors. You can start auditing your nutritional intake. And you guys can start to literally build the way that you want to look and feel by what you put in your body. So your nutritional IQ needs to get better. Your nutritional EQ, emotional intelligence, needs to get better, because everybody's, hey, let's go here, let's get this. Hey, let's go here, let's get this. It's like, you guys want to be able to do what's best for you so that you can perform the best for you. But there's so many variables to take into consideration in regards to nutrition. That's why when I teach it, I look at things strictly as numbers, not adjectives and descriptors. Healthy, unhealthy, good for you, bad for you, anything like that.
All right, guys. Tell David thank you. Hey, first of all, tell Mr. Holt thank you for taking this time to come up here and watch. But tell David thank you very much.
If you guys want to reach out to me, David F. Falco on Instagram. So like my page is mostly about nutrition, obviously like working out too as well. But like, yeah, I know all of you guys are on TikTok, Instagram, things like that.
Hey, when you guys are given these opportunities, Coach Gray brings people in, when he gives you time in the weight room, you need to take that seriously, right? If you don't, I promise you there's somebody down the road who is. And if you want to beat that somebody down the road, if you want to have that job next year in college, playing the sport you love, you want to have that job next year on this field, playing the sport you love, there's somebody in the locker sitting next to you taking this seriously, right? You have the tools, we have the knowledge, he's got the resources. You have this opportunity to take this seriously and apply it to who you want to be, all right? So soak up all the knowledge these guys are giving you, every chance you get, okay?
Real quick, biggest takeaway. Somebody give me their biggest takeaway. Just feedback from me.
8 hours of sleep.
8 hours of sleep? Good. Refueling at halftime? Yep. Huh? All you guys have heard is Snickers. Yeah. The timeline, I want to go back. Yeah. Again, guys, take into consideration this timeline. I don't know how to make this. Again, some of you guys didn't eat breakfast. It's already, 8:30. Some of you guys didn't eat breakfast. You're going to have lunch, and some of you may not eat before the game. You guys are running on an empty tank. You're not going to perform as well as you could be. Start looking at your meal timing on game day. Start looking at the quality of the food. Start looking at your sleep. Start looking at hydration. It would absolutely suck if you're playing against your rival. You're all hyped up. You're ready to go. It's your time. It's your moment. And then, the second drive in the third quarter, you cramp and you're out for the rest of the game. It sucks. I've been there. Absolutely sucks. So take these. I wanted to guys give you these little bitty nuances so that you guys can implement immediately going forward into tonight, this week, all throughout your season. Cool?
All right, guys, we're done with you. Enjoy your day. Learn something in school, please.
Luck tonight, boys.
Make sure you push those chairs back under somebody's jersey.